Sponsored by Win-Win Technology. Take advantage of our end of summer promotion, offering a $30 off bundle discount on the whole test takeout panel controls through September 2021.
Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing wonderfully well. It's late September 2021 and it's a very exciting time for SAM lovers because we've got a brand new SAM in DCS, the mighty, I was always hoping we were going to get this, Sa-5 S-200 set. And what we need to do today is to answer two questions. How good is it? What are its maximum parameters? Off one goes. And two, how can you beat it? So we're going to split today up into 5 things: information gathering and a bit of testing. 1, what is its maximum ceiling? I'm going to take an SR-71, the highest flying plane ever, air-breathing engines, and see if we can go over it. That can get all the way up to 120-something thousand feet. Range, what is the absolute maximum range of this missile? I should, I guess, also test kill probability, but that's going to take quite a few tests, so we'll see roughly how the kill probability goes as we test. Next, kinematics. How easy is it to beat these missiles kinematically? Notching them, going low, beating them kinematically. 4, all SAM sites have a floor, a altitude where you go below where it can no longer track you. We're going to see what it's like on this. 50 feet, 20 feet, 2 feet, we'll see. And finally, anti-radiation missiles. We're going to try and fight it, starting with high distance out at high altitude with AGM-88Cs, just a typical modern anti-radiation missile, and see what tactics we can develop and how easily we can kill it. The set we'll be using is this set here. It consists of a square pair, a tin shield, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Gammon missile launchers. All of them are set to alarm state equals red, and they're all set to skill excellent. So we've got the absolute maximum parameters we can do on here. Visibility is good, cloud cover is nil, and no wind. Okay guys, the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to get in an SR-71 from 200 miles away, and I'm going to see how high I can make this thing fire, and can I get over the top of it. Stand by. We're in a typical run-of-the-mill SR-71. Oh, she's really fast. Really fast. Mach 3.2 at the moment. Spike. She will fire soon. Even at 140 miles she will fire. Missile out. Okay, I'm going to climb and see if I can go over this missile now. Missile is 10,000 feet. My actual altitude's down to the bottom. It's just hitting 90,000 feet, as you can see. Missile is 18,000 feet. I'm going to beat this. Okay, over 90,000 feet. Missile is 30,000 feet. I'm 94,000 feet. Missile is 40,000 feet. I'm just ticking over for 100,000 feet. 100,000 feet. That's already above any other missiles that can do in DCS, by the way. They were already the most powerful thing out there. 70,000 feet for the missile. I'm 3,200 knots. Worrying in every sense of the word. I'm 107,000 feet. Missile's 85 and climbing at 3,000 knots. Oh, here it comes. 115,000 feet. And supersonic. It's at 117,000 feet and it's going above me. And I always done a thing. It's done a thing. I'm going for one last push. 116,000 feet. It's dropping down on me. It's 10,000 feet above me. It's dropping down on me. Where am I? Things move very quickly at these altitudes and speeds. I think it's going to miss. I'm falling out the sky. It's dropping on me. There it is. And there am I. PK is missed. Self-detonated. Couldn't get to me. Let's just take things scientifically, step by step. Can I get over the missile? No, I can't. It didn't hit me because its PK was bad at this range. But I can't get over it. I got to 116 on that run. We have actually got it to over 120 before, but I just didn't do the most efficient climb. And that thing was at 10,000 feet above me. It was 126, 127 I saw at one point, I think, and it still had 1,000 knots. So nothing in the world ever built with air-breathing engines can get above SA-5. That's the first thing we need to learn. Next, maximum range. We've got the sight there. We've got the Tu-160. It's just a big, fast aeroplane at 50,000 feet with a relatively big radar cross-section. It's probably not absolutely optimal, but it's a pretty good test to see what the maximum range is. He is starting at 173 nautical miles, 50,000 feet. I'm going to unpause now. It's supersonic, obviously. Like I said, you might be able to optimize this a tiny bit better. Maybe a C-5 Galaxy might be a slightly better target. The limiting factor is...
Missiles are rising?
Roger, watching now. The limiting factor is going to be the RCS. Size of those missiles. Each one of these missiles is basically as big as a... Fired! Each one of these missiles is basically as big as a modern fighter plane. We fired at an official maximum range of... Wow! 160 nautical miles. I'm going to say that again. 160 nautical miles, about 180, 100 miles, about, I don't know, 300 and something kilometers. Now, the maximum we've got in game at the moment is probably the S-200 PS or a variant of it at about, what would you say, guys, 70 miles? Maybe 80 with the wind behind it. So already we've doubled the distance that we can fire it, which I can't stress how important that is. Look, we've just cut off basically half of the Black Sea. That's how ridiculous this is, in a cool way, right? So that answers the second bit of the question, guys. Range, 106D nautical miles. Ceiling up at 130k, rounded up to the nearest 10. I think that's near enough. Kinematics is next, guys. In fact, and we'll do floor next because it's just going to be the next easiest to test. One of us is going to fly under it, towards it, incrementally low. So the start at 4,000 feet, and they'll slowly go lower and lower and lower. I'm going to find off the cutoff point at which it can no longer track anymore. We'll have Cortana watching the SAM, please. We'll have RC in the correct aircraft. It's there 2,000 for now, yeah, until you get shot at. When you get shot at, you want to go...
Missiles rising?
Missiles rising. Get ready to go down. And we want to go down to the point where the missile can no longer track you.
But considering it's looking at me across the ocean,
this might be a bit. This might be a bit dangerous for you, RC. They're not firing. They're not firing. I guess it's because it's low. It doesn't have that kind of kinematic pace, so it's going to wait until it's in kinematic range. He's essentially more or less on the deck, 40 miles. So there are no missiles in game that can do 40 miles on the deck at the moment. And even an SA-10 could only do about 15 miles like this. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's limited to about 20 miles. But that's fine. We'll just keep going. Started him out because I wanted to cover all possibilities. Right. Down you go. Let's see. You want to just go in this plane of motion, but go down and see when you can break the lock. The RW, I should tell you when. In terms of time, you've got loads.
Got it.
Oh, already. Wow. Okay. Now you want to very slowly rise to the point where it starts spiking you again, or to the point where it fires again. And that is our point. So very slowly rise until it fires at you, and that more or less is going to be our point. Let's see what happens. Now that's weird, Cortana. Why can't it see him low down?
I reckon it can. Well,
there. No,
I'm not.
no.
Yeah, but I say I'm not sure.
There, it's fired.
There, right there. 1,300.
Okay, go down again, and again once it's no longer firing, then level out. So it's about 1,300 that was. Okay, right, now straight and level. At that altitude at the altitude, okay. Very slowly rise again, and let's see if you get shot at 1,300 again. I'm just going to go through this cycle. Okay, and now very slowly eke up.
Already went too far.
Alright, it's bringing more missiles online. Missile away?
Okay.
Yep, fired. Back down.
Yeah, and pretty level out. As soon as the missile stops, level out.
Right there.
Okay, stop.
That was about 800.
Now slowly rise again, and you want to aim yourself left just slightly because you've got a little bit of course.
Oh, yeah.
Again, let's go up again. So again, skip up to about 1,000 and then just go up in tens. Just slightly
Missile away?
Okay,
right,
yeah, that was
lower.
1,000.
Alright,
that was 1,090.
let's dip down again. Let's try and fine-tune when it loses track.
Right there.
There, okay. Homing in on it. Up again.
Missile away.
It's around 1,000 feet, which is really weird.
Yeah.
Why can't it see below 1,000 feet?
I can see RC from the site.
Wow.
I have tally on RC.
Alright, just keep repeating the exercise. It's always been around 1,000 feet. Slightly above at longer ranges, but earth curvature, blah, blah, blah.
It should be lower, close to the minimum range.
I'd agree with that. I'd agree for all sorts of reasons, including radar power, but let's keep... Right, slow that ascent. That's a really interesting... It looks like it's 100% optimized for high level, i.e. above 1,000.
Block at 980.
Oh, yeah. Another missile's up.
Up, yeah, that's it. It's about 1,000 feet, guys. 30. It's about 1,000 feet. I mean, carry on anyway, but I'm pretty sure it's 1,000 feet. It's just not designed to fire low for, you know...
Did it hit the water?
No, it just exploded.
Up we go again.
Yeah. Missile lost my lock.
It's just 3 missiles remaining.
It's just got a basic logic filter in it saying if it's below 1,000 feet or thereabouts, don't fire it. Which means it's super easy to beat. Just go below 1,000 feet and bonk it with a bloody... bonk it with a gun. Right, one more time, RC, and then you can go and kill it with a gun.
I'm at 1,080 right now.
It may be within minimum range at this point, but carry on.
Yeah, but I say it just lowered one of the remaining missiles. Still has one ready to fire, though.
Go up a little bit. I think that one's bugged. That one's been sitting up all... I think that's within arm in. Well, just fly towards it and gun it now. So what we've discovered there, valued viewers, is it is 100% optimized as a high altitude SAM set. This is not something you have to fear if you're down, wild weaseling or whatever. Minimum altitude is set at about 1,000 feet, probably just by design, I'm guessing. And our min, which is usually about half a mile to 2 miles, is about 8 miles or something we found. So it's got this massive area around it where it can't fire, and you should say cap, but it would usually have close-in guns and stuff. But yeah, fine. But we're just looking at the set at the moment, and it can't go below about 1,000 feet, which is really interesting. And these are absolutely optimal conditions for a SAM as well. So it really is what we call a glass cannon. It's really big, it's really powerful, but it's really weak close up. Next, we're going to test the kinematics, which is going to be Cortana. You're going to start 50 miles out. Thing is, if you go below 1,000 feet, that's basically cheating Cortana. So you've got to beat it without going below 1,000 feet. So imagine 1,000 feet is your hard deck. You've got to beat it by notching, and you know what you're doing, and see if you can get right up to it for a gun skill, basically. Now, doing this in something with a medium range set like an S-200 PS is very hard to do. They're very kinematically good missiles. They bend, they're vectored thrust. They're just even from the 70s and 80s, they're very good missiles. What are these missiles like? Do they bend? How can they bend? How do they retain their energy? Are they thrust vectored? Blah, 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 blah. We're about to find out, guys. Cortana, you're starting about 50 nautical miles. You're starting at 4,000 feet. It will fire at you. Your hard deck is 1,000 feet. If you go below, you're a cheater. Do you think you can beat it?
You know, I'm not sure.
No jammers. No jammers.
Pretty sure this prescribed doctrine is to dive. So
well, no, it's just it's a diving notch. A diving notch, but you can't go below 1,000. I think you'll do it easy, because everything I've seen about this missile so far, which is just today basically, tells me that this is designed for one thing only: going really high, really fast. Things that go really high and really fast, almost exclusively in history, can't turn. I bet this can't turn, and I bet it can't track a notching target. You're going to prove it in 3, 2, 1, go.
Not aiming or firing.
Thank you, RC. You don't actually have to tell me that. Just tell me when it aims and fires. I know that valid viewers have been asking for your voice lately, but
I tell you, okay, it's setting up to fire.
Cortana versus the mighty Gammon. Who's going to win? No one knows. Actually, they're both crowd favourites. Cortana's a crowd favourite, but also Gammon's a crowd favourite. I mean, look at it. Look at the
date of this.
I mean, they date back to the mid 60s. However, this is almost certainly like the S-300 set that gets improved over the decades. It could well be an 80s or even a 90s or even a more modernised version of it. Okay, Cortana's up at 9. They'll fire at him too. If you're wondering why the range... Oh, missile out.
There you go. Firing.
Right. Okay, you can see value because it can't get very fast down here. It can only get fast up there, and that's because of drag, air resistance. The way Cortana's going to beat this is by notching. That means going to the left or the right. It's half kinematic maneuver. It's half radar beating maneuver. It beats the radar here because it nullifies the pulse Doppler properties of the radar. As well as that, it beats it kinematically by forcing this missile to aim in front of her. Now, missiles hate turning. They hate turning. They're all very bad at it, apart from like AIM-9X's and stuff like that. And you make it turn, you'll make it slow down. And that's what we're going to see here. Or slow down comparatively, but what it would have done if it wasn't turning. It's actually taken a very efficient path so far. I'm actually slightly worried for Cortana. But let's go. She's doing her best. Remember, you're allowed down to 1,000. Diving will always help. Yep, that's a dangerous looking missile, valid viewers. That is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. She cannot beat that. She cannot notch it. And that's an interesting thing. And she's beaten it. She's beaten it. She's just hit the notch right there. All legal, 2,000 feet. Speed and a perfect notch. She has to get that angle perfect. So there's no closure rate. So it beats the notch filter.
It's weird. It's pinging me with the track radar periodically, but it can't hold it.
Yeah. Right, well, that missile's beaten, Cortana, so in you go.
Roger.
Actually, oh God, it's just turned around and it's headed towards you again.
Oh my gosh.
You're all right. Look at that value. Look at it try and turn. Look what happens when it tries to turn. Look at its speed. It's just stalled itself. Trying to follow her. Look, she's right there. And we did an amazing job tracking. I'm amazed it did that, to be honest. Bearing in mind, I thought the antennas for the guidance were actually only at the back. But maybe that's not modelled, I don't really know. It's gone a full 360 chasing her and is now moving at 57 knots. I mean, I can fall out of a plane faster than that. Right?
Oh, yep, just fired.
Fired, here we go again, Cortana. This is exciting, and this is actually better than I thought it was going to be. Oh, you beat it. You beat it.
Yep.
Good notch, and it was legal. She got perfect, so her closure rate was 0. And this guy goes, oh, she's disappeared.
Tell you what, the new indicator on the HMD is amazing.
Oh, there it goes. It's repping 2 missiles.
This is exciting. Zap!
And fired on.
Casey Jones said, I would zigzag the whole way in. That's not. I mean, yeah, you do it, but it has to be timed. If you just
I'm not
zigzag,
sure that I could beat it by cranking. I think it's got too much energy to do that.
It's got a 3,000 knot missile. So you're not going to out crank it. No way. So she is going to zigzag in, but it's all about the timing. Actually, it's not zigzag. Technically, it's a perfect 90-degree notch. Turn in, perfect 90-degree notch. Turn in, perfect 90-degree notch, and everything has to be timed with what the SAM site is doing. Anyway, let's concentrate. She's failed this notch because it is coming at her. She's just not quite. Either it can burn through the notch, i.e., she's close enough for it to burn through, or she's just not quite got that 90 degrees perfect to the.
I might run out of gas before I get there.
That is a problem. We should have put infinite gas on. Oh, you beat it! Well done. You got that notch just in time. She got that sweet spot. Well, what we can do is we can carry on again with a new plane from whatever.
Think more missiles.
2 missiles going up. You're from 50 down to 33, so
And one's away.
you are slowly missile out.
Can it only do one missile at a time?
Almost
Can it only
certainly.
track-
An old thing
Yeah.
like this, it won't be multiple. Again, a massive difference between PS300 valued viewers and this. This is single target track, whereas a S300 is a track while scan type configuration. It will track 8 guys or something like that, all at different areas, and fire. I mean, it's an incredible piece of kit, the S300 really is. And fire missiles, which will track each one. And they're not Fox 3s, they're Fox 1 type technology. Again, you see her crank's a bit bad. Her aspect, she's got, it's not a perfect crank. So, for instance, that's heading of 080, so her notch should be exactly that plus 90. It should be 80 plus 90, which is 100 and, don't know, whatever that number is.
Did it? Oh, I see it.
You beat it. You beat it. Well done. Right, and you are at 30 miles.
I don't think I'm going to get any closer. I think the way to beat it doing this is going to be to stay at about this range and just drain it of missiles.
Agreed, but you've got to pretend it's got infinite missiles. I'm going to work you to the bone, so in you go.
Okay.
Because real life, you haven't got infinite fuel, so you can't just stay out there burning, and you don't know how many missiles it's got.
Alright, missile away.
So you've got to work until someone's dead, basically. Look at it making its little guidance, value viewers. You saw for a while there, it wasn't accelerating. It wasn't accelerating because it was turning. It was, even with the booster on, it was so draggy. It's got a straight line on Cortana now, so it's plotted a really nice, efficient course that it's not turning anymore.
No longer getting spike?
I think it actually reacquires, so I'll just be a little bit careful. Look at it
Yeah,
turning again.
I can hear it.
Oh, it's gone.
flying.
It's gone. It's gone. Carry on.
Okay.
28 miles. We're getting there. One painful step at a time, valued viewers.
I'm not liking my chances here.
It's close.
I'm going to try for something cheeky.
Look at tracking now. Look at it trying to turn. It couldn't turn with that. It couldn't turn with you. It gave up. It couldn't turn with you. Right, out you go, guys. I'm going to reset Cortana at 25 miles.
How well did that last technique seem to work?
You reverse your course, and I watched it turn its nose on you, and then it suddenly said, I'm giving up. I don't think it was a notch. I think it was a kinematic beat. However, you can never be completely sure. She's got a full tank of gas, starting from a few thousand feet, 25 miles. I'll see if we call out the missiles.
There he goes.
There he goes. That'll fire shortly. You should well be within...
All right, I'm going to...
Yep, there he goes. Missile out. I'm going to sneeze. I can only apologise, valued viewers. I've got literally the world's worst cold at the moment. So does Alison. Sucks. Fat ones. Right, anyway, we're starting again. 1500, 1400. Now, here's the interesting thing. This burns for so long. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. It didn't like it. You just hit that sweet spot. And she wasn't low. She wasn't even low. Look, she just got that perfect notch, and it said, okay, I give up. Right, in you go. 20 miles. One of the important things about doing this technique, valued viewers, which is a real technique, obviously, is to maximise this bit, her leg in. She has to get as fast as she can to get as much ground as she can. Do this against an S-300 is really hard, but it'll make you a really good pilot. Right, missile out. Now, here's the difficult thing. She's getting less and less time to dodge these missiles because they're coming out now at a range of sub 20 miles. And the radar's more power. A radar's power drops off to the square root, I think. So the closer she gets, there's more radar power on it. You beat it. And another one's out. Okay, it's got to this point now where it's firing multiple missiles in ripple, not in salvo, in ripple. So one after the other, which we've not seen thus far. It can't turn. It can't turn. Look at that. It's just chasing her at 200 knots. You made it turn, and it went all the way down to 200 knots. It can't turn. 600. It's on some sort of sustainer motor now. No, it's in its third rocket. Didn't know it had that many. It can't turn. Look, it can't turn. Look at it try and turn. You can see it can't bend, and it's given up. It can't turn. How interesting. Right, keep going.
My word.
It's because if she's closer, the effective turn it's got to do, valid views, is more. It's got to do more angle. And look at it. It's 300 knots, 200 knots, 100 knots. It just can't turn. And there's nothing it can do. Now that is an interesting, really interesting piece of science / history /
You might be
whatever.
able to just crank it at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it's these turns. The angles are too big for it. It's now doing 400 knots, and it's on full burn, second motor. How interesting! Now you try and do that against any other. Okay, hang on. Oh. Yes! It was chasing you at 200 knots. Amazing work. I think she's in Armin.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't care right now.
Look at that. Look at you see it try and bend. It was hopeless. It couldn't do 200 knots. Okay, go and gun it. That's your prize.
Guns.
Well done. Excellent example. It went kind of exactly as I thought. So first, is that a realistic thing? Not really, because obviously you'll just go below 1,000 feet. But what we're trying to see is how kinematically powerful that missile is. Yes, it's fast, but can it bend? No, it can't bend. As soon as it starts to bend, unlike an S-300, an S-15 or whatever, it scrubs all of its energy off and it goes down to a 200 knot missile and it doesn't become dangerous anymore. So really interesting thing. So outside 20 miles, it is dangerous because it will be able to bend enough. But if you're inside 20 miles and you're going in for a notch in a fast aircraft, I don't really think it's a massive danger as long as you're decent at dodging, not compared to something like an S-300. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the next few months. Okay guys, next, our last test is how does it react to ARMs, anti-radiation missiles. I'm going to start you in a pair of Hornets which have 4 AGM-88C harms on them. You're 60 miles out, you're high, you're fast, as if you were going to launch a harm. That's what you do, you go high and fast, right? You've got a waypoint on the SAM set, so you can do a pre-planned to get an efficient shot if you want, pre-briefed. That's up to you. That's it, go and beat it. Scratch it. Only one of you, please. Only one of you, because it's a single track radar. RC first, please. Remember, when it does fire, you've got quite a lot of time to evade because you're 70 miles away. So this is where it likes to be, 70 miles out. Okay, a missile's fired, so you do what you need to do to dodge it, basically. Even though it's notching valid viewers, the kinematic angle it has to turn is just a couple of degrees like this, so it can do the bend. But when it's here, it's having to turn 30, 40 degrees, and it can't bend. Unfortunately, you've got this massive missile, you're going to have to just wait until it dies. It could be forever. It's got the biggest engine I've ever seen of any missile, apart from maybe a Scud.
Very long range.
It is out of burn, and it's gliding now. And it's at a high angle of attack as well. So it's surfing. Which means it will reduce its speed pretty quickly, even though it's going down. Kind of sexy looking missile if you're into missiles, and let's face it, I am.
I do particularly like it as well.
I like it when it's got its boosters on for that split second. It looks like an old British Bloodhound. Just a really good version of it.
I really wish that they would model the booster separation.
I know, that is annoying.
Like, I realize it's not Kerbal Space Program, but that would look so cool.
And they'd fall off and they would be trailing smoke and stuff like that. That would sell videos, Mr. Wagner. He's not listening.
Oh, yeah. Especially with this one, where you get a little bit of the Korolev cross kind of effect. I think it'd look really cool.
Kind of feel sorry for RC out here. He's just trying to dodge this massively powerful missile.
It's at 60,000 feet. I'm at 7.
It's definitely trying, but at this point I'm not really liking its chances.
Just go below, because we'll be here all day, just go below 1,000 feet and scrub it and go in again. This is the problem, fighting these things in this range.
Problem is I gotta get way up.
Yeah, it's pointed straight down. You beat it.
Yay.
You just lost all its energy.
Yeah, 100 knots.
Right,
I see it's 100 knots. Right, go and fight the baddie. The stuff we have to think about, valid viewers, because the ranges are so big here. This aircraft really needs to fly up high, you know, for hundreds of kilometers to save fuel. Because you might say, oh, go on the ground, go low. Well, a Hornet going 160 miles on the ground, it probably can't even do that because the fuel it will take. I'm just kind of throwing out ideas out there, reasons why we might need to be high and fast for this thing. But it really does bring new realms into the game that you have to start thinking about. because of the massive distances that we're talking about here.
Yeah. I'm thinking if you co-located this thing with like an SA-2 and an SA-3, this would be a really dangerous thing to
Yeah,
approach.
exactly. Or if
At least for the time period.
Or, I mean, you could put the ultimate setting. You could put inside that an S-300 ring for medium range and high maneuverability, and inside that an SA-15 for anti-missile. Basically, invincible SAM set. Very expensive, but missile, and it covers 160 nautical miles, which is basically a country. That's literally bigger than my country. We just need one. We could buy one, and that's it. How interesting. And if you want to know why these massive SAM sites are built, valid viewers, well, it's all about the doctrine of the country. Russia is big with a massive country in terms of geography and a massive defensive doctrine. That's their doctrine. They don't like sending carrier groups out to sea. They're not USA. They have a very different thing. You're slowly getting there,
In a slow way.
They're all about defending the homeland from bombers and whatnot. And this would have been built in the 60s, and whether the American doctrine would have been sending higher and faster Hustler U-2, SR-71, blah, 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 higher and faster bombers. So this was developed to basically end that game, right? And it, well, didn't it? Because how long was it before, you know...
Wait, this is going to take forever, Cap, because I am 80 miles out. I'm not anywhere close.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Do you,
this is what
do you want us both to spawn and one of us can sort of dance for it while the other one
No, because this is what we're learning, guys. What we're learning is if the average guy... The question is from the average guy, how do I kill it with my harm? Well, at high altitude, you can't. You can't get close to it, as we're seeing here. You're going to run out of fuel.
Low.
So all you can do is go in low under the radar and pop up, right? You guys agree with that? So get below 1,000 feet now, RC, and go towards it, burn towards it or whatever, and prove that is how you're going to have to do it. Which brings its own problems, value viewers, because these air-breathing engines are very inefficient low down, and you're going to use all your fuel up, so it is interesting. So dive down, head towards it, get below 1,000 feet, which you're about to do now, and let's show that is the only thing you can do.
Heads up, RC, your air brakes out.
Now note, valued viewers, that we can get a massive range on the harm. We can get 80 nautical miles. We've shown 82, 84, something like that. But you've got to be high and fast, and if you're going to be high and fast, this is going to shoot you at 160 miles. So long-range harming is not possible. All you're going to do is low-range, low-level harming. That's the best you're going to get. Valued viewers are saying, what is the optimal speed and altitude for the Hornet? You don't need to know, because you've got something called an F-Pass DDI page in there, which tells you with that particular aircraft configuration how high and how fast to go for the maximum fuel consumption. So it does it all for you. So you never even need to learn.
For pre-brief, I'm not anywhere near range right now.
So his pre-brief system's going to tell him what the maximum range to fire is at that altitude. It's probably going to be 20 to 30 miles, I guess, something like that. Yeah. Now here's the problem, valued viewers. Again, if you're going to twin an S-200 with an S-300, this becomes unbeatable, because you can't. What he's doing now, you can't do that with an S-300. You'd be getting shot at. So how would you beat both of them? And the way you would beat an S-300, we beat an S-300, is we fly high, and we just outrange it. We fire at about 40 miles from high altitude, and we lob loads of long-range harms at the maximum range. And as long as one warhead gets through, you kill the flap lid or whatever, and that's how we kill them. But you can't do that if it's twinned with an S-200. Because when you're being launched, even if you're being launched at 160 miles away, you have to take it as a threat, right? You can't just ignore it. Only an idiot like me ignores the SAM launch. So worst case, it's going to put you off your mission. Or best case, it's going to put you off your mission. Worst case, you're going to get killed. Is this the longest range? Does anyone know if this is the longest range?
In the stock game, yes.
No, sorry. I meant to say in real life.
Oh, no.
I mean, S-400 probably goes further.
Yeah. But to say, if you really want to be terrified, put the SA-23 from the High Digit SAMs mod in.
Ooh, SA-23. Okay, I don't know. I don't even know what that is. 12 countries currently using the SA-5 at the moment, with the upgraded S-200. Funny thing about this is the massive distances involved. Look how long it takes to get him. And this is a fast jet doing 600 knots. Look how long it takes to get anywhere because of the ridiculous ranges. Okay, SA-23 is an upgraded SA-12. Right, which obviously begs the next question, what the heck's an SA-12? I don't know. Too many of them for me to keep up with. And each one's got so many sub-variants. It's a massive subject on its own, and I gave up when I started looking at it. I'm just going to learn the ones in game, I think. You are 30 miles. How's your pre-brief looking?
Looks like it's getting there. Why is it not letting me do this?
You can probably just go self-protect from here and just launch it. If you know you're within kinematic range. Fire and forget missiles, of course, so you can fire them and you can just chuck them all out.
Okay, now it's...
Okay, there he goes. Turn around, go away. course, he does have 3,000 knot missile chasing him now. I guess the last test is valid view is, can it shoot these small things down? Almost certainly not, but okay, it's diving down. A fast missile coming towards him. Okay, watching the harms go in.
Oh. Almost hit the ground.
Oops, don't do that, RC. That would be very embarrassing for everyone.
It's got to keep. I got to keep it. Well, I guess it should.
Right, watching this harm. 700 knots. Oh, it's shooting at you again. It'd be like...
It's all right. I'm trying to get it to stay active.
That's a good point. If it turns its radar off, these don't track anymore.
Yeah.
Which would be very troublesome.
Well, if it was in pre-brief, it should go.
No, it won't actually. It won't. It would only hit the weight. I don't know actually. I don't know. So he has to keep it active, keep it firing at him, but not die. So he's got to kind of do that thing that Cortana was doing a minute ago. Here it comes. Can't shoot. He can't shoot them down.
I'm thinking you'd still get the search radar though, even if the track radar wasn't active anymore.
Well, I don't know, Cortana, because what if you'd fired at the track radar? Would it then go to the search radar? I'm not sure it's designed.
I don't know. Since it's right next to each other.
You've told it to fire at a certain radar. You know, it's very dangerous for it to go.
No, fire and self-protect, so it's just looking for whatever.
Even self-protect, you choose it though, don't you? You go, I.
Well, yeah, it's true.
So I'm thinking, because what if that other contact, that other signal was from a friendly, from just a few miles away?
Where are those arms right now?
You won't believe what's just happened. It's lost track.
Yeah.
The radar's gone cold. It's turned its radar off. It's not IADS, so how the heck did that happen? They've all missed.
Wait, there's one more.
There's still one coming in.
Come on, radar, turn on radar.
And it's gonna hit the
There it
water,
goes,
but it
there
was
it
going
goes.
for the
Wow, how did it do that, valued viewers? Did it do it on purpose? Did it turn it off on purpose to trick the missiles? I don't know, that's opening up a whole can of worms. Guys, I know it's an annoying place to stop, but I think that is the place for us to stop today, because we've got to have a scope for the video. Let's quick, maybe we can come back to this another time. How good is the Sa-5 S-200? It has a maximum ceiling of 130k, nothing can get over that. Has a maximum range of 160 miles, that is ridiculous and will cause problems. It's got an RMIN of kind of 8 to 10 miles, depending on parameters, so that is a problem for the missile. Kinematics, outside of kind of 20 miles, it can do the turns necessary. Inside of 20 miles, it struggles on notching targets. It just can't do those turns. So that's something to take into account. It has a floor of around 1,000 feet, making it very vulnerable, obviously. And anti-radiation missiles, I don't know, they didn't work. But I think it was just a bit unlucky. I think probably RC just went too...
It'll work.
Yeah, I think they probably will work, but you can't launch from long range and you can't lob them in. You have to go low and fire at 20, 30 miles, which brings its own problems, because what if that had an S-300 with it that is deadly down low? You know, these are things you need to think about. So I found that incredibly interesting. How realistic it is, I don't know, but we'd have to assume it's realistic as ever. Any final thoughts from Cortana?
Nope.
Anything from RC?
No.
That's it. I hope you enjoyed that and see you later.